Hey everyone, welcome back or welcome for the first time. So happy you could join us. Before we begin, a quick reminder, my content is for entertainment purposes only. All messages shared through my pendulum are guided by my spirit team, spirit guides, guardian angels, and any invited souls who choose to join us. I cover everything from politics and global events to controversial topics and hidden truths. Nothing is off limits in this space. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. It's free and it helps amplify these messages to a wider audience. Thank you for being here. Now let's dive in and see what the pendulum has to reveal. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Regardless of when you're watching this, thank you for joining my session and listening to what I have to say, teaching you about different topics in the world, mostly politics, some hot buttons, following the Diddy trial. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe. I am going to be doing free readings for the 50th, the 100th, and the 150th person who subscribed to my channel. I have a lot of recordings out there to look at, and I have some educational shorts on what the pendulum is, what the divination board is. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reading on what higher self means and what the pendulum and divination board actually is. So that way, when you actually watch my recordings, it makes sense. So the actual title is Understanding the Pendulum and Divination Board. So, and excuse the banging beside me, I have construction going on. So I'm going to raise my voice, and then what I'll do is I'll update it in the recording just so that it's louder and you can hear it. So, starting with the basics. Is the pendulum moved by subtle shifts in the user's energy field? Yes. Oh, I didn't do the invocation. Let's stop that. Back up. You always do an invocation and a closing, and that's for protection. So I call in the law of truth and the law of challenge, which both of those have distinct meanings to them. I ask my higher self and my guides of the highest light to speak clearly and with love. Let no falsehood enter, and may all responses be for my highest good and guided by universal truth, and for everybody watching. So, how the pendulum functions. First question. Is the pendulum moved by subtle shifts in the user's energy field? Yes. Does the higher self communicate through the pendulum? Yes. So we're actually connected to my higher self. Can guides and spirits influence the pendulum without permission? Yes. Does asking for protection prevent lower energies from interfering? Yes. Should the user remain emotionally neutral to receive clear answers? Yes. Does the board act as a language map for interpreting the energy movement? Yes. If the user is tired or emotionally unbalanced, will the answers be less reliable? Yes. Is it possible for subconscious beliefs to influence the pendulum answers? Yes. I can speak the questions, but I can also think the questions. So I'm going to ask a question in my head, and it's going to give us the answer. Okay. So my question that I asked in my head was, where do I post my content? And it spelled out O-N, on, and then Y-O-U-T-U-B-E, which is on YouTube. Correct? Yes. So it wasn't necessarily subconscious thoughts, but I don't have to speak to communicate with the pendulum. When using a pendulum and a divination board or any kind of rituals like this, you need to stay grounding. Grounding is grounding important before a divination session? Yes. Does grounding connect the user to earth energy and stabilize their focus? Yes. Multiple choice. Which grounding method is best for me today? A, deep breathing. B, visualization, roots into the earth. Or C, physical movement. Or D, salt bath. B, visualization. On a scale of 1 to 5, how grounded am I right now? 1 being low, 5 being high. 5. If grounding is skipped, can the answers be distorted or scattered by energy? Yes. The next is protection. Invoking the law of challenge. Is invoking the law of challenge enough to block trickster spirits? Yes. Do I need to state aloud that only truth and light make him come through? Yes. Should I create a circle of protection before asking questions? Yes. So I have kind of a circle. I have my amethyst, and I have a bracelet on my wrist, which is obsidian, black obsidian, which is protection, and the other one is for clarity. I don't necessarily have a circle, although the pendulum does create a circle. It's a lapis lumit. So which protective practice is most effective today? A, white light visualization, calling on archangels and guides, burning incense or herbs, or saying a protection prayer. I didn't say the letters with that. That was a multiple choice. Let me start that again. A, white light visualization. B, calling on archangels or guides. C, burning incense or herbs. D, saying a protection prayer. So I actually have my gemstones, which it doesn't say that in there. I also have my archangels and guides. And I also do my protection prayer. Cleansing the pendulum and the board. Does my pendulum need cleansing today? Yes. Can built-up energy from previous sessions affect today's accuracy? Yes. Which method should I use to clean the pendulum now? A. Sound. B. Moonlight or sunlight. C. Salt or smoke cleansing. D. Intentional breathwork or visualization. A. Sound, which we're getting from the digging and the banging next door. It's not a chime bell or a singing bowl, but it's a sound. How often should I cleanse my pendulum? A. After every session. B. Once a week. C. Monthly, or D. Only when I sense it's needed. A. After every session. Next is about questions. Does phrasing questions mutually improve accuracy? Yes. Should I avoid emotionally loaded or leading questions? Yes. Which of the following is a better format? A. Is he cheating on me? Or B. Is he in a romantic relationship with someone else? B. So the more precise you can be, the more likely you'll get the answer that the energy will provide. Is it better to ask about patterns in energy than specific predictions? Yes. If I reword a biased question, will it improve the outcome? Yes. So oftentimes through my reading, you'll see that I will change the way I ask the question or stop the pendulum because it's just going crazy with back and forth yeses and yeses and yeses. It constantly swings like this. That's just the energy in the pendulum. But I can say center. And it will stop moving. Takes a minute because it's got to reduce the amount of energy that's in the pendulum. And then I can reword and ask a question in a different way. So if I change this question, how do I improve the outcome of a question? Do I ask it do I ask it multiple times? B, do I reword it? C, do I change the format of the question? Or D, all of the above? Now, because it's in a stop position, it's going to take a moment to build up the energy. You can see the chain rattling, and it's starting to move. I'm not moving it. My hand is still as still can be. It's going to build up the energy so that it can point to the letter and answer the question. He's a little slow. We could do this a little bit faster. When you're looking at the divination board, so for me, the way I'm looking at it from the side view. I can see where it's pointing right now, but from your perspective, you may not. Or it may look like it's more to the right or more to the left, whereas I can see it's pointing to the letter B. So if I ask it, are you pointing to letter B? It's going to tell me yes or no, and it's saying yes. And B, I don't remember what it was. I think it was reword the question. Yes, it was reword the question. So by changing things around, if you're not getting the answers that you think you should be getting, you can change it. And your intuition plays a lot into this because it's your energy, and your energy is the intuition that it's reading from. Next is emotional detachment. Do my emotions influence pendulum movement? Yes. Am I too emotionally invested in today's topic? No. My emotions aren't involved because I'm just stating facts. Should I pause and center myself before continuing? So to center yourself, you just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale, and focus solely on what you're doing. Which technique can help me detach emotionally? A, breath work. B, journaling the emotion. C, asking for higher self-support. Or D, releasing attachment to outcome. So are you pointing to C? Asking for higher self-support. On a scale of 1 to 5, how emotionally neutral am I right now? 1 being low, 5 being high. One. So that explains how the pendulum works. And of course, the divination board, as you can see it, it has months, days, different answers. I have 2 hearts on it, and I use that with my guides because I have conversations with them all the time. So when I first come in and say good morning to them, I get big hugs. Can you show me big hugs? Big hugs. We have our own little relationship. And then if I say, show me lots of love, it goes between the 2 hearts. So I know what it's telling me. And these are things that I specifically put on the board myself. Everything else is general stuff that's on the board. The alphabet, the numbers, the yes, the no, the soon, the later, the maybe. But the hearts I added just to add an extra connection with my spirit team. So thank you for listening. Thank you to my higher self and guides who participated in this session under the law of truth and the law of challenge. I now close the channel and cleanse the space and return to my own sovereign energy. Only light and truth remain. Thank you for listening.